Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Yai Vargas on behalf of the Latinista. We are so excited for this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us. It is March 1st, Women's History Month, and what better way to kick this month off than with a few incredible Latinas who have done so much for our community. So let me tell you a little bit about the Latinista, in case you've never heard of us, and perhaps this is the first time that you're joining us. The Latinista is a network for Latinas, women of color, and allies who are incredibly invested in their careers, trying to figure out tools, resources, mentorship, and ways in which they can learn something new so that they can advance their career. And this platform that we have here, Crowdcast, that you're hearing us on, is our way to make sure that you're getting conversations that are happening in your community. Today, we are profiling Antoinette as well as Alexa, who founded Latinx44 Scholarship Project. It's a scholarship project and a program to give access and opportunity for public service internships and mentoring in the Latino community. I am so thankful for you two ladies joining us here today. How are you both doing?
Great. Thank you for having us.
Oh,
yes, thank you.
So
the sun just came through, so it knows that we started and that everything's happy.
I love it. I love the energy. Women's History Month shining upon you all. So
yeah,
we'll take all of the sun and the energy. So first, I'd love to start with you, Antoinette. Tell us a little bit about your cultural upbringing. Where are you from? Where your family is from, and anything personal that you'd love to share with us.
Sure. Again, thank you for having us. My name's Antoinette Rangel. I was born and raised in the Bronx, and I'm a proud K through high school public school student. I come from a very big Mexican family, and as well also have Cuban and Puerto Rican heritage. My 95-year-old grandmother, who's Cuban and Puerto Rican, still lives in my childhood home in the Bronx, and I see her weekly. I grew up with a lot of my Hispanic heritage celebrated on both sides of my family. I've been very fortunate, celebrating different traditions, a lot around the kitchen and food making and spending time with family, and really excited to start this nonprofit to help the next generation of Latinx leaders by financing public service internships for them.
Wow. Thank you for that. That's incredible. I love that you spend so much time with your family as well as your Bronx roots. So love it. How about you, Alexa? Tell us a little bit about your culture, your upbringing, anything that you want to share with us personally.
Yeah, so my name is Alexa Kissinger, and on the opposite side of Antoinette, I actually grew up in a military family. So all my aunts and uncles in the military, both my abuela was in the military, so we moved a lot. We moved sometimes every year and a half, sometimes every 3 years, kind of bouncing around. So my family was often kind of scattered in different places, and this is before, the days of Zoom and FaceTime. But my abuela was, from San Antonio. He's Mexican, and my abuela, they met in Puerto Rico when he was stationed there in the Navy, and just have a beautiful love story. So we grew up with a lot of their traditions and spending a lot of time together when we could, moving around.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So now let's move into your college years. Tell us a little bit about what you studied, where you went to school, and what gave you the confidence to be able to do so much and give back to the community while, sharing your heritage as well.
Sure. So definitely was inspired by my parents, who believe that, one person can really make a difference. They've always been union organizers. My mom founded and runs 2 homeless shelters. So in addition to being a professor and also a nurse, but it's just sort of the culture in my family to give back to others. So that's where it started for me in the home. But then for college, I was awarded a full tuition leadership merit-based scholarship from the Posse Foundation. And essentially the idea around Posse is that you send cohorts of 10 to 12 students from cities to elite universities across the country as a posse. so that they can support each other from the adjustment of being in an inner city to going to a rural campus to campuses that are predominantly white, because that was definitely a culture shock for me when I went from growing up in the Bronx and going to school, high school and middle school in Manhattan, to being in Vermont where there are more cows than people and everyone is white. It was nice to have a support system to sort of remind me, like, you belong at this elite institution, you can thrive here. So I had the support of my posse throughout college, and then no financial burden of not being able to go to a school that was, really high sticker price. So, the reason that I have felt inspired by to do this type of work, giving scholarships to other Hispanic students, is because of the Posse Foundation. It really opened up so many doors for me. And in college, I wanted to pursue an unpaid internship working for Jim Davis for governor in Florida, the Democrat who was running at the time. And it's unpaid. And how am I going to move down to Florida with no money? And Posse had a partnership with a big corporation, and they were awarding scholarships for the summertime for public service internships. And so I applied to that scholarship, but without that $5,000 to sort of help me get through the summer, I wouldn't have been able to relocate and work for free. And that really opened up a lot of opportunities for me politically for later on in my career. I met someone who then became the White House press secretary 5 years later. And he eventually hired me to work full-time in the White House, which we can talk more about later. But, I think about opportunities like that, right? Like, I wouldn't have been able to just move to a different state and have no money had I not had the financial support. And so I want to make sure that other people who want to, pursue those big dreams aren't like, oh, I can't do it because I don't have the finances. Mm-hmm. That happens way too much for Hispanic and Black students. And we, Alexa and I wanted to do our part to sort of take away those financial barriers.
Wow, that's beautiful. First of all, your mom sounds like Superwoman. Oh my goodness. Wow.
I think I see her here in the participants too. Oh. Shout out to Mom.
I love that. For all of you joining us live, please encourage these women, send them your contact information, ask us questions. And now I want to direct the question to Alexa. Tell us a little bit about what inspired you to study at college, what you studied, and what are perhaps some challenges that you saw when you were studying, or some opportunities that you embarked on that, unfortunately, many people don't get the opportunity to go ahead and do, especially with these types of scholarship grants.
Yeah, so, the only way my parents and my grandparents were able to afford college was through the GI Bill, right? So that is what put them through school. Military was not the path of service for me, but I got to go because I was, when you're a sophomore, they make you sit down and take a random standardized test. I took the PSAT and became a National Hispanic Scholar, and that is actually what paid for me to go to school. So I got very lucky that school was completely paid for. I went to Arizona State, which is the opposite of where Antoinette went to school. It is a huge public university. I had never been to Arizona, but that is where I could go for free. So that is where I went. And it's a place where, and I think I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. It's a huge school. I think at first I just felt kind of overwhelmed, and, asking an 18-year-old to choose what is it you want to do for the rest of your life is a really scary and daunting thing to put on students. So I started off as a journalism major, but then they were going to make journalism majors move to the downtown campus, and I did not want to do that. So this is how I was making decisions at age 18 about the rest of my life. But I took a political science class and I took a philosophy class that just kind of lit something inside of me. And it was also, I started school during Barack Obama's first campaign for president. So something about his message and his personal story, I think inspired a lot of people, but particularly me. So that was where I just volunteered and I took up political science, and I thought there's something in this that my family's background of service, I think this could be a way that I exemplify those values that I was raised with. So, it started off by not wanting to move to the downtown campus, ended up with a little bit of Barack Obama, and, you kind of I just trusted my gut, and thankfully I had family members who supported me and a scholarship program that was a safety net that allowed me to, not have to work a million hours. I worked some, but I could focus on my studies. And, it's okay if you don't know what you want to do. It's okay if what you want to do changes. And just listening to that, I think, was how I ended up doing what I did.
I love that. And you know what? It's so important to support one another and empower other Latinas or other women in this community. Tell me a little bit about how you both met and how you realized that you wanted to launch something like Latinx44.
Yeah, so Alexa and I both met working in the White House for President Obama. We both were working in the West Wing. And contrary to what TV makes it look like, the West Wing is a pretty small place. So you get to know people very well just because it's a tight group of people. And our offices interfaced with each other. And so I got to know her when she was the assistant to Valerie Jarrett, and I was the assistant to Press Secretary Josh Earnest. And, we just connected. There's also a subgroup of family in the Obama White House. We call ourselves the Latinx44. It's all the Obama administration Hispanic staffers, who would get together for happy hour or, go for a coffee now and then. But so she and I got to know each other in our work in the West Wing. And then many years later, we were actually inspired by our colleague, Disha Dyer, who was the President and First Lady's Social Secretary. Disha has an incredible story, which I encourage folks to look up. Truly an inspiration of coming to the White House as an intern sort of later on in her life, being a community college graduate, just more of a non-traditional path. Because some people feel like going to Washington, you have to have all the connections. But, Alexa and I and Disha are examples of if you work really hard, that will open up different doors for you. So Disha actually started an initiative called Black Girl 44, and she got together with a bunch of Black female staffers from the White House to do what we're doing, but for Black female students. And Alexa and I were like, that's amazing. We should do that for our community, but we wanted to open it up so it was for Latinx students, so men, women, and people who are don't identify with a particular gender as well. And then also beyond just the White House, wanted to involve all the administration officials because under the Obama administration, there were like 500 or so plus. So to leverage that really big community to make sure that we could, finance a lot of different scholarships and also a lot of different students working in different aspects of public interest, because that's the important part about our scholarship, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit. But public interest is very broadly defined. So you could be working for a judge, or you could be working for an immigration nonprofit. You could be working in the econ space, the economic space. So we wanted to make sure that we were funding scholarships, not just in one particular area, but just the umbrella of public service more broadly. So we were inspired by her. And, I sort of just texted Alexa one day and she was like, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. And thankfully, both of us are lawyers here to navigate incorporating a nonprofit and dealing with the bureaucracy that is the IRS to become a nonprofit. But the two of us work together, and it's amazing to have a team to be able to do it, to bounce ideas off one another, to be able to communicate about different things that we envision. First, we were going to offer 3 scholarships. We've got people have been extremely generous and excited about the initiative, so now we're able to offer 10. But it's nice having a partner in crime to discuss these things with and sort of talk about the organization's future and what we want for it to be for this inaugural class of Latinx scholars.
That's incredible. And so the reason why we connected was because I found your article on the news, online, probably about 2 weeks ago. And then I shared it on my LinkedIn profile and I tagged you both. And I said, I have to support these women. That's the power of networking these days. And within that post on my LinkedIn profile, someone was actually curious and saying, hey, how can I get my son or my daughter to apply for an internship? So Alexa, walk us through what the scholarship project really is, who can apply for it, what it is and what it isn't. Give us a little
Totally.
So that people are like, oh, I've got a niece or a nephew. Let me send this to them and let me be very specific.
Yes. And first of all, thank you for reaching out and for helping us get this word to other students and applicants and people who want to donate. It is, we worked really hard to start it, but if people don't find out about it, there won't be scholarships to give. So thank you for providing this platform. But what Antoinette and I have launched and what so many people have supported is a scholarship program. So it's not an internship program. What we're trying to do is if there are current students or recent graduates, and that includes undergrads, it includes community college, graduate programs, law school, broadly defined as students or recent graduates who have already secured or in the process of securing a public service internship. We define public service really broadly. So that could be working at the White House, it could be working for a city councilor, it could be working for a nonprofit, just something that is giving back to your community. In Washington, D.C. for this round, we're giving $1,500 scholarships for students to be able to pursue those opportunities. Unfortunately, we all know how important internships are to securing further jobs, to getting experience on your resume, but too often, even in 2021, these opportunities are underfunded or even completely unpaid. I had multiple internships where I made $0 and was nannying at night, and like getting the free lunch and like hoarding it in Tupperwares, just like really trying to make ends meet. And we want to be able to provide something for students to be able to say yes to these opportunities because they are so beneficial to your career and to make it a little bit easier for them to say yes instead of having to say no because of finances. So I know the Pay Your Interns campaign is doing amazing work. Obviously, I think, just speaking for myself, that unpaid internships do keep out a lot of Black and brown students especially, and certain people from being able to take these opportunities. So we're trying to help students be able to say yes. And so it's $1,500. We'll also, this incredible network of Obama former staffers has donated and supported and is a part of this effort. So thank you to them, but they also have signed up to serve as mentors. So you'll also receive a mentor as well as the scholarship and continued programming to help with your professional development.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible.
What did I leave out?
No, you left
okay.
The only thing that I would mention is that Alexa and I both started as White House interns who were unpaid.
Yeah.
That really just opened up so many doors for the both of us. And can you imagine had we not taken that opportunity because we simply could not afford to do so? Like that is probably the main driver of this scholarship program, is that we don't want your dreams to be stopped by finances. And so we're trying to do our small part in that by helping subsidize whether it's an unpaid internship or an underfunded internship. So some applicants have applied and they're going to get like $1,000 from their law school or their undergrad. And that's great. But then we can, sort of supplement that so that you have, more finances to be able to do this opportunity so that you're not also working, part-time or full-time to be able to afford it. I remember my first internship experience in high school. I was working full-time during the day, and then at night I was a hostess at a Southern restaurant. So I was working just, 90 hours a week to be able to supplement the unpaid job that I was doing. And it shouldn't be the case. Like, you should be able to have your evenings, your free time, really immerse yourself in that public service internship. And so that's what this is about.
Incredible. And when you guys were White House interns, how long is that internship opportunity? A couple weeks, a couple months?
Yeah, so they have not yet released the new details about this administration and how that White House program is going to work. But from our experience, I was a summer intern. So there was a spring term, a summer term, and a fall term. And I think it ran like Memorial Day till early August. So like a summer session. And it was a lot of work. It was, people work there very hard. I worked a lot and it was very unpaid, but it was incredible. The person I worked for as an intern gave me my first job, so like very direct impact of getting there and having the space to be able to do good work because you're not so stressed doing 20 different things really does provide an opportunity for people.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the experience that you gain is priceless, but like you said, you want to make sure to have the bandwidth to really focus on what you're responsible for those 2 or 3 months, as not have to worry moving across the country, finding a roommate, paying rent, being able to eat, commuting.
Yeah.
It's fascinating work. And how about, so for the people that want to support this project, are you raising funds? Can we send you money so that you can have even more scholarships?
Yes, you can absolutely send us money. On our website, it's Latinx44 Scholarship Program.com. So not only the application is there, but also the ability to donate. So we originally funded the first 3 scholarships exclusively by former Obama administration officials who are Hispanic. But then so many people were like, this is an awesome cause and we really want to support more scholarships. And so we opened it up in the broader Obama family, and some of our friends and colleagues have donated to it. But yeah, we're happy to take donations, and 100% goes to funding scholarships. Alexa and I are committed to doing it, obviously this year and then in future years. But we're doing at least 10 scholarships for this go around, which is very exciting because we thought initially we'd only do 3, and now we get to do more than triple. So it's great.
Incredible. You guys are doing some incredible work. What else can you tell me about the people and the students who are actually applying? What parts of the country are they coming from? What do you see them focusing on? Do they want to make it to the White House, or are they working, for a judge or a nonprofit? Where are they applying from?
It's really varied, and I think that speaks to the importance of getting the message out, which is why we're doing interviews like this and why we've shared things on social media and sharing it within our networks. But we have people applying from like Texas to New York to Florida, doing all sorts of different type of work, working for judges, working for nonprofits. So, we've gotten a lot of emails asking about what scholarships are eligible, but it's more that you should ask if your scholarship is, if your employer is eligible, rather than think like that we have a particular idea of where you should work. Like Alexa was saying earlier, like you can work for your city council member, you can work for your local Department of Energy. Like really, it's just we want to see applicants who are dedicated to giving back to their community. That's what, the President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama inspired Alexa and I during our time in the White House, is that you want to make sure you're looking out for those who come after you. And, we got the opportunity of a lifetime to serve in the administration and serve the American people. And we want to find those other Latinx young people who want to do the same in their future. So if you have any questions about whether or not your employer qualifies, you can email us at info@Latinx44Scholarship.com. And we check that inbox very regularly and are responding to folks about questions that they have, whether or not they're eligible. And, Alexa also mentioned that different schools apply. So you could be a law student, you could be a graduate student, you could be a student in a technical college, community college. We want to make sure that we're opening up access to opportunity for people from all different walks of life. The only criteria is that you're a current student or recent graduate. But yeah, you can find all that information on our website.
That's incredible. And so you know that the Latinista is full of incredibly accomplished women who are trying to give back to the community as well as learn new skills to internally mobilize at whatever organization or company they work at. Are you guys interested in perhaps volunteers? Is there an opportunity, or do you guys need help and support in any ways that you can share with us now, so that those women who want to help you bring this to a broader reach, they can reach out to you and say, hey, I'd love to volunteer and answer some emails for the frequently asked questions. Do you guys need some support?
I feel, go ahead.
I think right now, kind of an ambassadors is also really what we need. So making sure students at whatever colleges or whatever sorority or group, or your community high school, whatever relationships you have, to make sure students know about this opportunity. We really want to get the word out and have applications from not just people who are already plugged into, DC listservs or whatever, but to all kinds of people. Yeah, whether you have, thank you, Teresa, whether you have a newsletter or something like that, we can certainly send out just kind of a clean blurb that has some of the contact info and deadlines. The deadline is April 1st. So we have 1 month. I can't believe it's already March, like the craziness of this year, clapping, and I'm like clutching my chest. But so we have 1 month to get as many students to apply as possible. So any help with newsletters or spreading the word would be great. And also as we grow, right now we have the incredible mentorship of a lot of Obama alumni, but there will certainly, I think, as we continue to grow this program, be an opportunity if we have a student who's interested in public relations or, or something like that you do, I think there's a mentorship piece here where we're really excited to think about it and grow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
As Alexa said, spreading the word. She and I both have reached out to our alma maters, our law schools, any professional organizations that we're part of, because we want to get as many applicants as possible, because the scholarship is only as powerful as we find the great Latinx leaders to support them financially in their endeavors. So spread the word.
Yes, absolutely.
I think also encouraging people, I think there's a chance, who knows, but that a lot of opportunities will still be remote this summer in public service just because of COVID. I've heard anecdotally some people are not sure about applying to internships because they're not sure about the remote situation. But I think encouraging the young people in your life to just go ahead and apply, and you'll still have context, you'll still get experience to still be pursuing these opportunities, even given the uncertainty of everything going on. Is important as well.
To give you an example, in the job that I had previously, we had a summer and we had 13 interns. And we made it a point to meet with those interns 3 times a week on Zoom for 1 to 2 hours for each of those meetings. We did an entire virtual speaker series. Again, it was at a court, so it was all law related, but different people from the defense bar, from the prosecution bar, judges, etc. So people are trying to translate internships as much as possible to the virtual space. Obviously, it's not the same, but the experience, like Alexa said, is really invaluable. So we hope that you apply to internships generally, and then let us help you fund your dreams.
I love that. Let us help you fund your dreams. That's incredible. We have incredible people that are part of this community, and Teresa actually represents Prospanica, formerly known as the National Society of Hispanic MBAs. But there are many people like Susan, who says she can spread the word at the City University of New York, right? The scholarship offices, as well as the Hispanic Bar Association, and so many other platforms like LinkedIn and Slack and Facebook groups. Wherever you see that someone needs support or information or resources like this one, please, please, please take this website, drop it in there. And if you have a question as to qualifications, we also have their email address so that you can ask those really difficult questions and see if you qualify, right? What do you have to lose?
Yeah. As one professor from college told me, the worst that someone can do is say no. So it's always worth trying. But we're hoping that we'll say yes.
I hope so too. What else do you share with us? Yeah. What else would you ladies like to share with us about the project? Any challenges that you faced? I know that we've got 1 month left for those people that want to apply. What else can you share with us about the project? Maybe the way in which you built the scholarship fund, or anything else?
Well, we did spend a lot of time on the phone with the IRS, so that has been lovely, but it also means any donations you make are tax deductible. I don't think we said that. We can provide you with a letter, which is great. We have some people whose jobs might match. So if you have the access to a program like that, that's something we are hoping to fund as many students as possible. So something that we're happy to work with you with. And I think for me, this experience says that when a smart, talented friend of yours texts you with an idea, you should just say yes and try and make it happen, because it has been a great experience. And I think hearing has let me hear and I feel like the experience of not being able to fund an internship and struggling feels very isolating. And even years later, I am doing okay. I ended up with a job, but to hear other people's experiences throughout this process and them sharing the things they went through has been just really enriching and lovely and affirming to me. So you should say yes because it helps other people, but also these experiences are just great for the community and great for your soul. So I am feeling good. I'm thankful for Antoinette, and excited to partner with everyone in the chat.
Yeah, we're very, very fortunate that we were able to fund these scholarships. And it was really, so meaningful to have people reach out to us and be like, my goodness, I wish this this existed when I was first starting out, because maybe I wouldn't have said no to that opportunity, or I would have been struggling less, or I really want to support this now because I know how important it is for the future of the Latino community. So it's just been very, very empowering, and it's exciting to feel hopeful about the next generation of Latino leaders. So I feel grateful to have Alexa as a partner and our broader Obama family and all the supporters that we've had, who are like, we want to fund scholarships. Like, what an amazing idea. Like, we can't wait to support these people in whatever they want to do. So it's been great.
This is incredible. And let me throw this out there. If someone did want to donate to this cause, obviously they can donate probably any amount of money, but the amount, if someone wanted to donate an entire scholarship, would it be $1,500?
Yep. And we've actually had a few people do that, which is very generous and exciting. But, we're open. And like Alexa mentioned, we've also had people who have come to us and say, I want to donate this, and my company is willing to match that amount. So we're very open to conversations and partnerships. We're talking to a couple different universities who also want to partner with our program. So we just want to open as many doors as possible, and we're happy to do the work to create the foundation for that.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, you can donate $10 or you can donate $3,000 to fund 2 more scholarships. And this is a conversation that's going to be had even after you guys close the deadline. So this is just fantastic. I wish you guys so much success. And where can we connect with you? On LinkedIn, on social media, via email? Tell us where we can find you and support you.
Sure. So we have our website, which Alexa dropped into the chat. We also have an Instagram page at Latinx44. We have a LinkedIn page, also the Latinx44 Scholarship Program. Don't have a lot of content on there yet, but we will eventually. And then also our email. You can reach out to us directly with any questions you might have, and really like ask us anything. People were like, I'm going to apply to my member of Congress. Does that internship count? And it's like, go for those opportunities and just check in with us if it's an eligible scholarship.
And these opportunities are just for those located in DC or relocating to DC, correct?
Yeah. So the idea is, a lot of the work to give back to our country is in our nation's capital. But we also know that given COVID, that some internships might be based in DC, but you might be living somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it's more what you'd be doing in the internship that we just want to see. It's a demonstrated commitment to giving back to your community and to the Latino community more broadly.
Wow. That's incredible. Well, ladies, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our community?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for taking the time, everybody, and providing this platform. It seems like you've built a pretty special community. So thank you for sharing it.
Yeah, we really appreciate the opportunity to talk about the scholarship and get the word out. So thank you for having us.
Wow. Thank you so much for taking the time. We wish you the best of luck. We wish that 1,000+ people apply to this scholarship and we can fund 1,000 more for our community. So ladies, I appreciate you. Happy Women's History Month, and thank you all for being part of the conversation.
Thank you again.
Take care, everybody.
Have a good day.